When Zhao Suisui was returning home for the Chinese New Year, she passed by her aunt's grain shop and was suddenly stopped by her aunt who was in need of help to keep an eye on the shop. Just as she was lying on the rocking chair brushing videos with her phone, she was hit by a falling meteorite from the sky and fell into darkness. When she woke up again, she found herself in a narrow and oxygen-deprived space, and it seemed like she was being stepped on by a pair of feet. She stared at her feet, pushed them apart, and finally could breathe in oxygen. As soon as she closed her eyes, she fainted from exhaustion. When I woke up again, I turned into a 3-year-old radish head, still in 1956. Thinking of the 3-year famine, I couldn't help but tremble. Fortunately, my aunt's grain shop came with me. Chapter 1. Tire Puncture. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On the pitch-black road, Uncle Zhao Guang rushed home with his luggage on his back. He received a letter from his daughter-in-law, estimating that she was going to have a baby. He took annual leave from the army and returned. Arriving at the county town in the middle of the night, Uncle Zhao Guang's eyelids kept twitching. He decided to hurry back on the night road so that he could see his wife and children earlier. From a distance, he could see the lights in his yard. His eyelids were jumping fiercely, and his pace couldn't help but accelerate. Just as he was about to knock on the door, he heard his sister-in-law crying and begging. "Mother, Xiuhe is almost exhausted. You can take her to the hospital to give birth. What you said from the second family, the third family is already having their third child. How could they be so pretentious?" The harsh voice was spoken by the sister-in-law. "Boss, go wake him up." Old Zhao didn't finish speaking. Uncle Zhao Guangshu kicked open the door when he heard that his wife was not doing well. With a bump sound, the gate of the yard was knocked down by Uncle Zhao Guangshu, and the people in the hall looked at Uncle Zhao Guangshu as he returned home. Zhao Laotu and Zhao Pozi were surprised, sister-in-law was guilty, sister-in-law was surprised, and their 2 sons were sobbing on the side. "Third, you can come back. Take your wife to the hospital quickly. It's been a day since she gave birth and she hasn't given birth yet." Second sister-in-law quickly said to Uncle Zhao Guangshu. Uncle Zhao Guang rushed to his room and saw his wife unconscious on the con. Carrying a blanket, she rushed to the yard and found a wooden cart. She put it on and the second sister-in-law walked to help. "I'm here, you go and pick up the third brother and sister." "Thank you, sister-in-law." Uncle Zhao Guang said his gratitude and hurriedly returned to his room, picked up Chen Xiuhe, and came out. Seeing the 2 sons on the side, Uncle Zhao instructed them to wait at home and lock the door. Zhao Liwen and Zhao Liwu also knew that their mother's situation was urgent. Zhao Liwen said, "I understand, Dad." After speaking, Zhao Liwen pulled his younger brother Zhao Liwu back to their room and locked the door. "Third, you're just." Zhao's mother looked at her son's return and didn't speak to herself, feeling a little guilty. Before Zhao's mother could finish speaking, Uncle Zhao Guangshu pushed his wife away. "Tell me," Lao San must have heard it, Zhao sighed as he looked at the fallen gate in the yard. "What's wrong with me? It's not that I made my third daughter-in-law unable to give birth." Zhao Pozi began to refuse with a stern expression. "This time it won't be that simple. There will be more trouble when the third person comes back." Zhao Lao patted the cigarette stick in his hand and returned to the room. In the courtyard, only the pale-faced sister-in-law Lu Zhaodi was left, suppressed by Uncle Zhao Guangshu's sharp gaze just now. She couldn't help but be afraid and rushed back to the room, holding her precious son, intending to take Zhao Lijin back to her mother's house to hide for a while. Zhao Liwen and Zhao Liwu, the 2 brothers, were lying by the window, staring fiercely at the uncle's house, waiting for his father to come back. When Zhao Suisui woke up, she found herself in an extremely small space and felt like she couldn't breathe. When she was returning home during the Chinese New Year, she passed by her aunt's grain shop and was suddenly stopped by her aunt who had something to do and helped to keep an eye on the shop. Just as she was lying on the rocking chair brushing videos with her phone, she was hit by a falling meteorite from the sky and fell into darkness. At present, there was no time to think much. The lack of oxygen made her instinctively arch in one direction, and she found herself as if her head was being stepped on by a pair of feet. With a glare, she pushed those feet apart and felt more oxygen. Zhao Suisui continued to arch forward, exerting a lot of effort, finally being able to breathe oxygen. As soon as her eyes closed, she fainted from exhaustion. When I woke up again, the sound of a boy crying was in my ear. The boy was being suppressed and beaten by a boy. "Let you bully my sister, I'll beat you to death." The boy on the ground was beaten and screamed loudly, without any ability to fight back. The howling sound attracted an old woman who saw her two grandsons fighting in the yard. She picked up a broom and greeted the child who was fighting. The boy dodged and the broom fell directly onto the boy on the ground, saying, "Oh, milk, why did you hit me? Li Jin, my good grandson, is there anything I can do? Let me show you the milk." Zhao Suisui had not yet figured out the situation when the boy who had been beaten pulled into a room, and the boy quickly closed the door. "Year after year, does your head still hurt? Let me shout for you, little brother." The boy finished speaking and blew on Zhao Suisui's forehead. It's okay if he doesn't blow, but as soon as he blows, Zhao Suisui feels a lot of pain on her forehead and says, it hurts so much." Zhao Liwu thought he had hallucinated. After his younger sister was born, she never spoke and couldn't even cry. She was quiet all day and had to be fed. "Suisui, can you speak now?" Zhao Suisui crouched down with her head covered, replaying the memories of the past 3 years in her mind. It turned out that the last time she woke up, she was in her mother's belly. The feet she kicked out were from her sister Zhao Nianan, but Zhao Nianan had already died before she was kicked out. The doctor diagnosed her with staying in her mother's belly for too long, lacking oxygen in her brain, and being foolish. If it weren't for his father rushing back and taking her to the hospital, he wouldn't have been able to save her. There is only one daughter left, and she is still foolish. Chen Xiuhe hates the big family and also hates Zhao Lijin. If it weren't for her collision, how could she have given birth prematurely? She told her husband about being bumped into by Zhao Lijin. When she got home, Zhao Guangshu beat his elder brother Zhao Guanhua half to death and demanded to split the family. However, Zhao Pozi refused. Zhao Guangshu was in the army and sent back a monthly allowance of 30 yuan. If the family split up, this money would not reach her. Uncle Zhao Guangshu directly said that if he didn't divide his family, he would go to the army to accuse Zhao Lijin of murdering his military dependents. Zhao Pozi felt that her eldest grandson was young and not afraid, so she stubbornly refused. If there were any further family disputes, she would write a letter to the military to accuse him of not adopting his parents. Uncle Zhao Guanhua took the ultimate move and decided not to go to the army. As long as he was at home and could get out of bed, he would continue to beat him and keep him in bed forever. This directly hit Zhao Pozi's lifeline. She still has to rely on her eldest son to support her elderly. After 2 days of trouble, Mr. Zhao invited the village chief to separate the family, and his eldest son was taken care of. The other 3 sons were given 5 yuan or 100 kilograms of grain each year. His father is 28 years old, ranking 3rd, and his second uncle Zhao Guangzhong are twins. She also has an uncle Zhao Guangji who works in the town. Her mother's name is Chen Xiuhe, who is 25 years old. Her elder brother Zhao Liwen is 9 years old, and her younger brother Zhao Liwu is 7 years old. Her current body is called Zhao Suisui, who is 3 years old this year. "Suisui, what's wrong with you? Why don't you go beat Zhao Lijin again to vent your anger?" Zhao Liwu looked at his sister, who was covering her head, and asked anxiously. "Little brother, I have a headache." Zhao Suisui, "Oh no." Zhao Suisui sat on the ground with a headache, leaning against Zhao Liwu's arms. "I'll take you to the clinic," he said, then picked up his sister and headed out. "Liwu, how's Suisui doing? Chen Xiuhe hurriedly rushed back from the field and saw his youngest son carrying his daughter, walking forward to pick up Zhao Suisui. Suisui was knocked down by Zhao Lijin and knocked to the head. Zhao Liwu told his mother about what he had just seen. After checking the information, it was found that some places began to have communes, production brigades, and work division systems in 1956. This article sets out that there were work divisions in the early 1950s, and communes and production brigades were officially established in 1958. Chapter 2. Grain Shop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Xiuhe heard that it was another puppy from the big house and looked fiercely at the house. Li Wu, close our door tightly to prevent any cat or dog from sneaking in. He said she knew that Lu Xiaodi was in the room and deliberately said so. Now that her little daughter's affairs were urgent, she picked up her little daughter who had been complaining about a headache and ran to the barefoot doctor's house in the village. Zhao Suisui was stabbed by a barefoot doctor a few times, and the pain quickly subsided. Take the medicinal wine back, 3 times a day, and it will be fine after wiping, 3 cents. Dr. Gao took back the silver needle and instructed. Thank you, Dr. Gao. After Chen Xiuhe finished speaking, he handed over 3 cents and carried his little daughter home. As I walked, I realized that my little daughter could speak. Year after year, who am I? Chen Xiuhe asked tentatively. Mother. Zhao Suisui also knew that she had been foolish for 3 years, and it was best to speak out 1 or 2 words or 2. Call again. Chen Xiuhe choked up his throat and asked his little daughter to call again. Mother. Oh, it's great that our family can talk every year. Chen Xiuhe shook his hand and hugged his little daughter even tighter. Zhao Suisui appeared to be a 3-year-old child on the outside, but inside was a 23-year-old soul. She was held by a woman several years older than herself, feeling a bit embarrassed and wanting to leave on her own, but Chen Xiuhe refused. When the mother and daughter returned home, the eldest brother Zhao Liwen also returned. Zhao Liwen is in 3rd grade at a primary school in the town, and the Fuxing village where Zhao's family is located is only a 15-minute walk away from the town. What's wrong with Suisui? Zhao Liwen saw his mother holding her sister back and smelled the medicinal and alcoholic smell on both of them. Pushed by the puppies in the big house, you take your sister back to the room. Chen Xiuhe placed his little daughter on the ground, picked up a hoe, and started smashing into the house of the couple in the big house. Lu Xiaodi, if you want to hide, I'll smash your house and come out. You bereaved star, what are you smashing? Put it down for me, Zhao Pozi said directly to stop. Mom, please stay away from me. If I accidentally hit you later, it will be another medical expense. You heartless person, dare to curse your mother. In law. Zhao Pozi heard this and dared not move forward. Thinking of her crazy appearance when she gave birth, she did not leave the hall. Lu Xiaodi, if you don't come out again, I'll have my family, Li Wu, beat up your precious son every day. Chen Xiuhe didn't plan to entangle with the big house for too long, as her children were still waiting for her to cook. What do you want to do? Lu Xiaodi opened the door unwillingly when he heard that his son was about to be beaten. What do you want to do? Your son caused my daughter to knock on her, we'll lose money, 3 yuan. You're robbing money. Dr. Gao can see that it costs at most 30 cents. Lu Xiaodi didn't even think about not losing money. After all, the third wife's combat power is too strong, and Zhao Liwu, that calf, is just as strong as his father. Even Zhao Lijin, who is 4 years older than him, can beat him down. If you hit it, don't you want to pay for the nutrition? You need to eat eggs for a month to make up for it. A girl's movie, where can it be so expensive? I can only compensate you 50 cents at most. An egg costs 3 cents, while 30 eggs cost only 9 cents. Chen Xiuhe costs 3 yuan, which is equivalent to 100 eggs. The eldest daughter. In law, give your siblings 5 cents and 20 eggs, said Mr. Zhao directly in the hall. He didn't want to come back from work all morning, and the house was still noisy. Old man, you. Zhao Posey was not willing. They followed the boss, didn't they want to take it from her hands? Mr. Zhao glanced directly at his old wife and said, "Stop talking, quickly make up for it and go cook." Although Mrs. Zhao has always been in charge of the family, it is still Mr. Zhao who ultimately makes the decision. Chen Xiuhe forcefully tugged at Lu Zhaodi's 50 cents in his hand, carrying 20 eggs from the basket back to his own house. During this period, Zhao Suisui also realized that it was early June 1956, and that Fuxing village was located in the northeast. The Zhao family has a population of 4 bedrooms, with Zhao Guangbua as the eldest. They have a 15-year-old eldest daughter, Zhao Lady, a 13-year-old second daughter, and an 11-year-old youngest son, Zhao Lijin. The second wife is Zhao Guangzhong, who has a 10-year-old eldest son named Zhao Zhizhi and a 9-year-old youngest son named Zhao Liming with Qian Chuanfen. Not long ago, after the second uncle was assigned a house, he went to the city with his wife and children. San Fang is Uncle Zhao Guangshu, who has a 9-year-old eldest son named Zhao Liwen and a 7-year-old second son named Zhao Liwu with Chen Xiuhe. His eldest daughter Zhao died young. His youngest daughter Zhao Suisui was 3 years old. Zhao Guangji, a fourth wife, has a 5-year-old daughter named Zhao Weiwei with Yu Jiejia. She lives with her father-in-law in the town. Thinking of the famine 2 years later, Zhao Suisui couldn't help but tremble. She hugged her body with both hands and cursed the damn meteorite in her heart. Thinking of my aunt's food shop. I found myself seeing a grain shop. Is it a travel welfare? Zhao Suisui has read many novels, and some time travelers will give away golden fingers as gifts. This grain shop may be her golden finger. She looked up at Chen Xiuhe cooking in the kitchen, Zhao Liwen helping to wash vegetables, Zhao Liwu fetching water, and no one noticed her. Zhao Suisui tried to take out the chocolate in front of the counter, but didn't expect it to be. Looking at the chocolate in his hand, Zhao Suisui, who was forced to cross, couldn't help but shed bitter tears in his heart. Fortunately, with food, she could survive. She put the chocolate back in the space, touched a basket of eggs on the table, and silently read it in. The basket really disappeared in front of her. Zhao Suisui checked the space and found that the basket was well placed on the open ground, and then moved it out. It seems that her golden finger is this space, which is 8 meters long, 6 meters wide, and about 5 meters high. I don't know if she can go in, she wants to try when there's no one around. Because of the Chinese New Year, my aunt has ample stock, and the entire grain shop is piled up with rice and white flour. If it weren't for the store being filled with goods, she wouldn't have moved the rocking chair outside the door and wouldn't have been hit by a meteorite. There are also some eggs and cured meat, as well as 30 barrels of 10L peanut oil, which should be sold together with grain. There are 10 boxes of eggs, each box has 12 boards, and each board has 30 eggs, totaling 3,600 eggs. There are 5 boxes of cured meat, each box contains 50 kilograms of cured meat. There are 5 boxes of sausages, each box contains 20 pounds of sausages. Rice weighs 100 pounds per bag, about 300 bags, and white noodles also weigh 100 pounds per bag, with 500 bags. A box of yeast, a burlap bag of plastic, and an electronic scale. Suisui, it's time to eat. Chen Xiuhe said several times, but the younger daughter didn't react and looked at her nervously. Okay. Zhao Suisui regained his senses and said to her mother. Seeing the nervousness in Chen Xiuhe's eyes, he slid down the Kong and walked to the table where he was eating. He looked at the table as high as himself. Zhao Liwen brought in the dishes and placed them on the dining table. He picked up his sister and asked her to sit on a chair. There was only a chair with a backrest and armrests at home, which Zhao Guangshu had specially made for his little daughter when he came back last year. He was afraid that she might accidentally fall off the chair while eating, and everyone else would sit on a four-legged bench. Chapter 3. Not Stupid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All four of them sat down, and Zhao Suisui watched as her mother was holding a spoon to feed her. He quickly pressed down on the bowl in front of her and said, "I'll eat it myself." "Are you joking? She's so old and still needs someone to feed her. She can't open her mouth." Chen Xiuhe gave the spoon to his little daughter and watched as she could eat well. He also picked up his own bowl and started eating. Lunch was very sumptuous, with scrambled eggs with scallions, stir-fried green beans with preserved meat, and mushroom soup. This kind of dish was only available during festivals in this era. Today, to celebrate his youngest daughter's return to normal, Chen Xiuhe specially made a good meal. Looking at the eggs and preserved meat in the bowl, most of the preserved meat from stir-fried beans with preserved meat is in her bowl. Zhao Liwen and Zhao Liwu were only able to split 2 pieces, and they cherished the small bites very much. Zhao Suisui took a spoon and shared the preserved meat in her bowl with the 3 of them. "Let's eat together." After finishing speaking, she lowered her head and began to eat braised rice. She was already hungry. In the morning, the sweet potato that the little brother baked for her was snatched away by Zhao Lijin from the big house. In my memory, this puppy often snatched her food. At that time, she did not recover her mind and had never told her family. Chen Xiuhe looked at his little daughter and finally believed that her daughter was really good. She would eat whatever she had given her before, and if she didn't, she wouldn't beg to eat even if she was hungry. "Let's eat," Chen Xiuhe said as he looked at his 2 sons' hesitant expressions, letting them eat. After lunch, Chen Xiuhe opened the drawer and took out 3 remittance orders, intending to show his little daughter another look at the Tiantian County Hospital tomorrow. After the separation, the child's father sends back 40 yuan every month. Before, when there was no separation, Uncle Zhao Guangxu would keep 20 yuan by his side as a precaution. After the separation, he would keep 10 yuan and send back the rest. "Li Wen, will your school rest tomorrow?" The eldest son is smart and likes to read. He went to school early, and the second son can also be sent to primary school in a few months. "Why don't you go tomorrow?" His mother rarely cares about her studies. When she first started studying, she won first place every time, but her mother was already immune. "Then you write a letter to your father tonight, telling him that the year is coming and that we, the 4 of us, will go to the county town tomorrow. You can think of what you want to buy, and your mother can buy it for you. Do you want to go to the hospital?" Zhao Liwen asked as he thought of his sister's recovery. "First go to the hospital, then go to the post office to send a letter and collect money, and finally go to the supply and marketing cooperative." Chen Xiuhe told his eldest son about tomorrow's itinerary. "Well, I'll write it when I come back tonight. Mom, I want to eat peach pastry." Zhao Liwu shook his mother's arm with a smile when he heard that he could go to the county town tomorrow. "Sure, all 3 of you can buy the same." After the family split, the husband's allowance was enough for the 4 of them to live on, and Zhao Guangxu occasionally sent back some food that the county supply and marketing cooperative did not have. "Well, I want to eat candy," Zhao Suisui said casually as he saw her mother looking at her. She is not sure what snacks are available in this era, she can only say that she wants to eat candy. "Go to sleep, Li Wu will take his sister this afternoon and don't go to the river or the mountains." Chen Xiuhe carried his youngest daughter onto the Kong and took the nearby fan to fan Zhao Suisui. She, who was not originally tired, slowly closed her eyes. When she woke up again, she was the only one on the Kong. There is no clock at home, and she doesn't know what time it is now. She can only look at the sun outside and estimate that it should be around 4 p.m. "Suisui, have you woken up?" Zhao Liwu, covered in sweat, pushed the door in and saw his sister sitting on the Kong. He reached out and dragged her feet to the edge of the Kong, then carried her down. Zhao Suisui. Have you ever considered my feelings? Years. Zhao Liwu was thinking that his younger sister wouldn't be foolish again. Little brother, where have you been? I'll go beat Zhao Lijin to vent my anger on you, he said, revealing his big white teeth to his sister. Her little brother was a bit silly, but it didn't stop her from reporting, that brat often snatches my food. What? How many times have you snatched it? Zhao Liwu listened and immediately exploded. I don't remember, anyway many times. Damn it, I'll beat him for a month. Zhao Liwu immediately announced Zhao Lijin's fate for the next month. Zhao Lijin, who was not far away, was rubbing his arms and couldn't help but feel a chill on his back. Zhao Liwu was very close to her and smelled the sweat on his body. Little brother, why don't you go change your clothes? Okay, I'll take you out to play later. Zhao Liwu changed his clothes, put the straw hat on the wall on his sister's head, and took her out. Zhao Suisui walked on the road and met someone calling her little brother. Liwu, go to the foot of the mountain to find crickets. Go. Zhao Liwu responded and took his sister's hand to follow the army. Why did you bring your younger sister with you? Zhao Taizhu knew he loved his foolish sister and immediately changed his mind. Suisui stays at home all day, and I take her out to breathe. Suisui, this is your iron pillar brother. At noon, the big brother gave him a task, which is to take his sister out to play. Through the child's mouth, he told the people in the village that his sister is not foolish anymore. Iron pillar brother. Zhao Suisui spoke, her soft and sticky voice attracting everyone around her. Are you Zhao Suisui? That's silly. Zhao Liwu's sister. The speaker was Zhao Taidan, Zhao Jieju's younger brother. Well, it's me, Zhao Suisui nodded heavily. I'm your iron egg brother, call me. Iron egg brother. Ah. Zhao Taidan agreed, really not foolish. Big news, Liwu, I won't go catch crickets if I have something to do. Zhao Suisui watched him disappear without a trace, knowing that in the next few days, she would be the topic of conversation for the entire village. In the evening, Chen Xiuhe took leave with the village chief after leaving work. The village chief also heard that her youngest daughter was not foolish. Chen Xiuhe wanted to take her to the county town for inspection and happily wrote a letter of introduction to her. When Chen Xiuhe returned home, his youngest son and daughter had already washed the dishes they were going to cook for the night, and she was ready to start. Mom, I took 3 sweet potatoes and a bowl of rice. Zhao Liwu prepared the dinner ingredients that their family usually makes in the evening. Well, go help my mother cook the pot. When Zhao Liwen returned, dinner had just been prepared. After dinner, Zhao Liwen began writing letters to his father. His mother only knows a few words, and since he entered 3rd grade, he has been responsible for writing letters at home. After Zhao Liwen finished writing, he read it again to his mother, confirmed that there were no problems, folded it, and sent it to the county town tomorrow. From the 3rd family, Mr. Zhao's voice echoed in the yard. Dad, what's up? Chen Xiuhe probably knew what old Zhao was going to say. I heard that the year is coming and I want her to come out and meet me, said Zhao, smoking his dry cigarette in his hand. Year after year, come out and meet your grandfather. Chen Xiuhe didn't refuse either. Although his father.in.law prefers male grandchildren, he doesn't take them seriously like his mother.in.law does. Grandpa. Zhao Suisui came to the yard and looked up and called out to old Zhao. Oh, good, good. Old Zhao carefully looked at the little radish at his feet, his eyes lit up, unlike the dead pool water before, he said 3 good things in a row. Chapter 4. Going to the county town. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The next morning, while Zhao Suisui was still asleep, she was picked up by her mother and vaguely cooperated with Chen Xiuhe. When she woke up again, she was already in town. Chen Xiuhe carried a big backpack, Zhao Liwen and Zhao Liwu each carried a small backpack, while Zhao Suisui woke up in the big backpack. Mother, wake up year after year. Zhao Liwen, walking beside Chen Xiuhe, reminded his mother when he saw his sister wake up. Every year, there is mantu in the basket, and you can eat when you are hungry. Chen Xiuhe and his 2 sons are on their way. They have to catch the bus leaving for the county at 7 o'clock, or they will have to wait until 12 o'clock at noon before the second bus starts. Zhao Suisui has already accepted the fact that she is always carried wherever she goes. After all, her short legs really can't walk fast. Take out mantu and observe the towns of this era while eating. Most of them are half clay and half brick houses, and some are all clay houses and brick houses, but the number is relatively small. The people on the street dress very plainly, and most of their clothes are patched. At the same time, she realized that her mother and 2 brothers were dressed more simply than usual, and her clothes also had 2 patches. 4 people. The 3 of them hurriedly arrived at a rudimentary waiting room. The ticket seller saw that Chen Xiuhe was carrying more children and asked the 3 children to buy an adult ticket. After getting on the bus, Zhao Liwen saw that the big clock in the waiting room showed 6.40. Mom, there are still 20 minutes left before it starts. Hey, there's still a clock that's more convenient, Chen Xiuhe gasped for breath, feeling a bit discouraged. Mom, let's go to the supply and marketing cooperative before going to the waste recycling station. Zhao Liwen's teacher said he can repair some simple appliances, and he plans to go to the waste station to search for any broken clocks. If there's enough time, then go. The shuttle back from the county is at 5 p.m., and it takes 1 hour to return to the town. The mother and son were chatting, and many people were getting on the bus one after another. At 7 o'clock, the bus departed on time. After getting off the car, the 4 of them headed straight to the county hospital and registered Zhao Suisui. The person being examined was still the doctor who diagnosed Zhao Suisui at the time. Is this the little baby girl from that time? The doctor remembers Chen Xiuhe. In this era of valuing sons over daughters, a baby girl who died young was the least heartbreaking, but the couple seemed to have lost their only son. Yes, please take a look. It suddenly improved yesterday. Chen Xiuhe nervously looked at the doctor. Let me take a look. Zhao Suisui cooperated with the doctor's examination and finally concluded that she was a normal child. Following her mother out of the hospital, Zhao Suisui noticed that her mother had suddenly changed and became more energetic. Let's go to the post office and send a letter to your father. He must be very happy to know how you are. After 4 people went to the post office to send letters and collect money, they came to the supply and marketing cooperative. Zhao Liwu got the peach pastry he was longing for, Zhao Suisui got a pack of big white rabbit milk candy, and Zhao Liwen didn't ask for anything. He wanted to go to the waste station to pick up the clock. Chen Xiuhe looked at the clock of the supply and marketing cooperative and said, let's go to a state-owned restaurant to have a good meal first. Yes, I haven't eaten braised pork belly for a long time. I want to eat braised pork belly. When Zhao Liwu heard about the state-owned restaurant, he thought of the braised pork belly his father had taken him to eat. Let's go eat first, Zhao Liwen agreed, thinking that there was still a lot of time left after dinner. In this era of material scarcity, the only place people could improve their meals was state-owned restaurants. When 4 people walked to the place, they found that many people were already queuing up. Zhao Liwu quickly rushed up, lined up at the back of the line, turned his head and waved to them, Mom, come quickly. By the time they reached Zhao Liwu's side, there were already 2 more people behind him. After waiting for a while, at 12 o'clock, the salesperson opened the door and everyone rushed in. The 4 of them found their seats and sat down, waiting for the salesperson to come and order. Zhao Suisui didn't realize why he had to rush in until he sat down, because the salesperson had driven out those who didn't have a seat. In the 21st century, there are no restaurants that drive guests out. Zhao Suisui looked at the today's menu on the blackboard. He was lucky. There was braised pork belly that my brother liked. What to eat? The salesperson stood next to the four people with a notebook and pen in his hand. His attitude was not average, and during this period, the salesperson was just arrogant. After 70 years, he was fired by the boss minutes later. 1 braised pork belly, 3 bowls of plain noodles. Chen Xiuhe ordered the list, prepared the food coupons and money, and handed them to the salesperson. I'll go to the window with the order later to pick it up, he said. He tore off a list and placed it on the table, then turned around and left. The restaurant is bustling like a vegetable market. After the food I ordered was ready, all that remained was the sound of eating. 3 bowls of noodles, 1 bowl is for Chen Xiuhe to eat, and the 3 siblings share 2 bowls. Braised pork belly is delicious. Zhao Liwu felt his plump stomach and walked out of the state-owned hotel, still lamenting the braised pork belly just now. Zhao Suisui was young and started to feel sleepy after lunch. After following her mother for a while, she was carried by Chen Xiuhe into the basket and asked to sleep with the things she had purchased today. When I woke up again, I found myself lying in a cool place, with her mother chatting with a woman on the side. Wake up year by year. Chen Xiuhe sensed the voice behind him and turned to see his youngest daughter rubbing her eyes. Mother, where is this? This is a waste station. The woman who was chatting with her mother just now was speaking. This is Manager Chen. You call her Aunt Chen. Hello Aunt Chen. Zhao Suisui had just woken up with a slightly milky voice. Hey, hello. Steward Chen looked at the chubby little girl in front of him. You have taken care of her so well. Her father likes to send her some milk powder and malt milk powder from time to time. Thinking of having to drink milk powder these 2 nights, Zhao Suisui's whole body is not doing well. She secretly gave her 2 brothers a drink, but it was rejected. She didn't want to waste food these days, so she still insisted on drinking it. What about big brother and little brother? She looked around but didn't notice them. Looking for a clock in the scrap room. Chen Xiuhe stuffed 3 big white rabbit milk candies into Manager Chen. Manager Chen said he had seen 2 and asked them to find them themselves. Zhao Suisui listened to their gossip and for the first time felt that her mother seemed to have social anxiety disorder. She listened bored and went to the next door to find Zhao Liwen and Zhao Liwu. Big brother, haven't you found it yet? Looking at the 2 brothers with somewhat disheveled faces, Zhao Suisui wanted to take out the wall clock in the space, but something clearly different from this era made her shrink back. If you can't find it, then don't look for it. Zhao Liwen looked at the time and it's already 4 o'clock. They have to wait for the car to go back at 4:30. I'm also here to help, have you searched here? Zhao Suisui pointed to a corner. Don't do anything, your hands will get dirty later. Zhao Liwen didn't agree with her search, and his sister's small body couldn't move those rotten tables. Chapter 5. Taobao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'll take a look. Zhao Suisui didn't even think of moving those rotten furniture. However, she smelled the fragrance emanating from the furniture and guessed in her heart that these could not be furniture made of nanmu. Looking at the large wooden table with missing arms and short legs, with several holes in the middle, Zhao Suisui stepped forward to touch it. This was sent by the tycoon at the right time. We couldn't find any materials to repair it, so we had to pile it up here. Chen, the steward, passed by the waterway and saw the little girl staring at the pile of broken furniture, saying to her. The fight against landlords began during the 1927 land revolution and lasted for 30 years, which was also timely. Her high school history teacher is a talented person who never uses textbooks in class. Her lectures are very interesting, so Zhao Suisui still remembers a lot of modern history. Suisui, do you like these woods? Zhao Liwu leaned in and saw his sister's little hands constantly touching here and there, all white and gray. Little brother, this wood is really fragrant. Chen, the steward, said that this is nanmu. Before, the taste was not very strong, but after being left here for a long time, the taste became stronger and stronger. It's indeed Nanmu. Nanmu emits a scent that can be smelled and approached, and becomes more pronounced over time. Looking at the furniture in front of you without painting can still keep it shiny. Zhao Suisui is certain that these are Nanmu, but he doesn't know if they are Jinsi Nanmu. If we put it in the 21st century, we can make a lot of money. Little brother, you go help big brother. Zhao Suisui sent Zhao Liwu away. She took a liking to a table leg, which was a structure of a Lu Ban lock. Since it belonged to the landlord of the earth, there might be some good things inside. Then don't flip around. Zhao Liwu pushed the broken pieces of wood that were stacked together firmly, and then walked away with peace of mind. When people around Zhao Suisui and others wouldn't notice her movements, they put their table legs, which were about her height, into the space and continued to search for the clock. Until he stepped on something made a ding-ling sound. Zhao Suisui grabbed the book under his feet and found a rectangular clock with broken glass, with its two corners slightly sunken. Big brother, do you think this is it? Zhao Suisui raised the clock in his hand and looked at Zhao Liwen. That's it. Zhao Liwen took the iron lump from his sister's hand. The glass on the dial was broken and there was no battery, but everything else was fine. He planned to take it back for the teacher to repair. Then you can give it 30 cents, Chen, the steward, weighed the iron lump in her hand. She remembered that the clock was a foreign item sent by the landlord, but when she brought it home, she found that it needed a battery and brought it back. This one needs a battery. If it can't be repaired, you can take it back and sell it, and I'll collect 20 cents by then. Spending 10 cents, there was a chance to get a clock. Chen Xiuhe thought it was very cost-effective. His father had also sent back watch tickets, but the cheapest one was 58 yuan, which was more than Zhao Guangshu's monthly allowance. Chen Xiuhe was not willing to spend so much money on a watch, so he sold the watch tickets to his cousin who married in town and collected 10 yuan. Could you please, Sister Chen? Chen Xiuhe quickly paid and, seeing that it was almost time, left the waste station with the children. Come and play when you have time. Chen Steward and Chen Xiuhe chatted well. She was also a military relative and wanted to have multiple friends and different paths. I will, Chen Xiuhe waved his hand and agreed. After leaving the waste station, the four of them started walking towards the bus station. Zhao Suisui had short legs and walked for a while, but couldn't keep up with her mother's footsteps. He was then carried on his back in a basket. The shuttle bus was shaking, and by the time she woke up again, she was almost home. The things in her backpack made it difficult for her to reach out and she was shouting to get off the ground. Before reaching the big tree at the village entrance, her mother put her down and let her go on her own. The old ladies passing by the big trees in the village, also known as the gathering place for gossip, were seen by the sharp-eyed widow Li, saying, Uncle Guang, where did you come back from? I went to the county town to see a doctor for my family year after year, Chen Xiuhe replied with a smile. Is your family really getting better year by year? Yesterday, the loudspeaker Zhao Taidan had already told Zhao Suisui that he was not foolish, and the villagers remained skeptical. Widow Li leaned forward and looked at Zhao Suisui, her eyes bright and not as dull as before. It seemed that she was really doing well. All right, the doctors have all agreed. Come on, Suisui, this is your seventh grandmother. Chen Xiuhe called his youngest daughter to her side and introduced her. Hello Grandma 7, Zhao Suisui said in greeting. Hey. At this moment, 5 more people walked over, Chen Xiuhe introduced them one by one, and Zhao Suisui followed suit to greet them one by one. After watching them leave, Chen Xiuhe took the children home, leaving behind a group of elderly women to continue moving melons. After returning home, before it was time for dinner, Chen Xiuhe was sorting out what he had bought today. Zhao Suisui and Zhao Liwu were lying on the table, watching their older brother play with iron bumps. Although Zhao Suisui was just looking at her older brother, she had already begun to unlock the Nanmo Luban lock in the space. After the table legs entered the space, she discovered the hidden gold and 4 small yellow croakers inside. She controlled the wooden block and began to pull the Luban lock. It took her a long time to release the small yellow croaker inside. A small yellow croaker weighs about 30 grams, and she is now a person with gold. Thinking of the next 10 years of turmoil, one can go to the waste station Taobao again and wait for the reform and opening up to directly become wealthy. Big brother, can you fix it? Zhao Liwu asked impatiently as he watched his big brother fiddle with it for a long time, but the clock didn't turn. There's no battery, how can the clock run? Zhao Liwen glared at his younger brother in frustration. Battery. Zhao Liwu has never seen anything like a battery. It's just the battery. Zhao Liwen remembered that he didn't have a battery at home. Even if he fixed the clock, he would have to go to the county's supply and marketing agency next time to buy it. The town supply and marketing agency doesn't sell batteries. Zhao Suisui thought about the several boards of Mofu batteries on the counter of the grain shop. He could tear off the labels and take them out for his elder brother. Stop playing and eat. Chen Xiuhe came in with a pot of congee. Zhao Liwen neatly packed the iron lumps into an iron box, and Zhao Liwu started wiping the table with a cloth. Chen Xiuhe and his younger son cleaned the table, then put down the basin and prepared to go back to the kitchen to serve the dishes. However, his eldest son took the lead and sat down directly. Zhao Suisui looked at the congee in his bowl. Zhazi congee was corn congee. He ate it with a spoon and found it delicious. He didn't want to cut his throat. What Zhao Suisui doesn't know is that what she is eating now is Xiabatzi congee, which is a little finer than Dabatzi congee. When corn is processed into 2 halves, it becomes large pieces, and when further crushed, it becomes small pieces. Most of the people in the village are made into big pieces, and Chen Xiuhe deliberately grinds them for a while to make Zhao Suisui eat more comfortably. Chen Xiuhe watched his little daughter eat slowly and stood up, adding a spoonful of the brown sugar he bought today to all 3 children. Zhao Suisui. Actually, she doesn't like sweet food. Watching his mother turn around, she scooped up half of the brown sugar from the bowl and put it into Chen Xiuhe's bowl. It's too sweet. Next time, Mom can take half a spoonful. In Chen Xiuhe's impression, there is no child who doesn't like candy. Chapter 6. Hare. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, when Zhao Suisui woke up, she was still the only one on the con. The child's body makes her wake up every day with 3 strokes of the sun. She has gone from a slight sweat to her current calmness, comforting herself and waiting for her to grow up. A sound came from the yard, and she lay in front of the window and saw Zhao Liwu coming back with a wooden bucket. Watching Zhao Liwu take out his clothes from the bucket and start drying them, I thought of her mother asking the young man to pick them up by the river last night. After washing the clothes, her mother went straight to work. In order to avoid being dragged off the Kong again later, Zhao Suisui came to the edge of the Kong and stepped on the small stool next to him to the ground. The door was locked from outside, so she had to call Zhao Liwu to come and open the door for her. Little brother, open the door, she said. Wait a moment, I'll share another one. Since discovering that Zhao Lijin from the big house often bullies Zhao Suisui, the family has been locked when going out. After a while, Chen Xiuhe went back to his mother's house and asked his younger brother to come and help build the courtyard wall for them. Afterwards, they would enter and exit through the back door. When dividing the family, the backyard was assigned to Uncle Zhao Guangxiu, and a kitchen was built. The rest was used for growing vegetables, surrounded only by a simple fence. Her mother planned to replace the fence with soil cultivation and build a courtyard wall. Are you hungry? Zhao Liwu opened the big lock with the key around his neck and found his sister squatting at the dining table. Zhao Liwu didn't say it was okay, but after saying it, Zhao Suisui's stomach began to scream. Wait. Little brother, I haven't washed my face yet. "Oh, wait by the well, I'll get you a towel." Thinking that everyone at home needed their own towels, Zhao Suisui was very pleased. Fortunately, their family's conditions were good, otherwise, like a big family sharing a towel, her cleanliness obsession could not be accepted. She took the towel that the young man had twisted up and started wiping her face. Brushing her teeth did not have a toothbrush, only salt water to rinse her mouth. Looking at the little brother who was busy with her, I felt a bit embarrassed in an instant. If she had done it herself, she would have been snatched by the little brother, so I had to let him do it. After washing her face and brushing her teeth, she squatted on the threshold, waiting for her breakfast. Today, we had rice porridge and pickled vegetables for breakfast. Zhao Suisui also had a boiled egg. She peeled off the eggshell and gave half of it to my brother. Brother and sister each held a bowl and began to drink congee. At this time, Brother Zhao from the big house came back after washing his clothes. Looking at the brother and sister who are drinking congee, the envy in their eyes is undisguised. Why can these two people who don't have to do anything eat so well? They can only eat a little corn flour dumplings every day. Her mother always beat and scolded both sisters. Even if Zhao Liwu is a man, she depends on the granddaughter of the Zhao family. What she hates most is Zhao Suisui, who does nothing but eats best. Zhao Suisui was not afraid to see Zhao Lady's fierce gaze. Her little brother was there, and Zhao Lady dared not come over. Watching his siblings ignore him, Zhao Lady shook his clothes loudly to vent his dissatisfaction. Upon being heard by Lu Zhaodi in the room, she immediately cursed, "You're a loser. How did your clothes offend you? You're going to shake yourself to pieces, be careful of your skin." Upon hearing her mother's voice, Zhao Lady couldn't help but tremble and slowed down his hand movements. In this era without television, internet, and mobile phones, Zhao Suisui looked at the lawsuit between the mother and daughter and thought it was just a meal. After finishing breakfast, she followed the little brother out and arrived at the foot of the mountain. The little brother wanted to play a bird grill for her to eat. Zhao Suisui thought that staying at home all the time was not a problem, so he went out with him. Zhao Liwu held a slingshot in his hand and hid in the grass with his sister to guard the plants and wait for the birds. After waiting for a long time, he moved his position again and accidentally went up the mountain. Zhao Liwu remembered his mother's words and was not allowed to take his sister up the mountain. Holding Zhao Suisui's hand, he was about to go down the mountain when suddenly his sister fell into his hand. Before she could pull her out, there were rabbits on the other side, one or two. Without much thought, Zhao Liwu picked up a slingshot and fired 5 shots in a row. The remaining rabbits ran away, and when I saw my sister get up on her own, I instructed her to wait in place. I quickly ran towards the place where the rabbit had just escaped. Zhao Suisui stayed in place and patted the soil on his knee. Looking up, he found that the little brother had actually brought back 3 wild rabbits. One of the rabbits weighed 4.5 pounds, and Zhao Liwu tied it with a grass rope and could still run towards him. He further affirmed her little brother's strength. Year by year, look at 3. Little brother, how can we take it back? In theory, all the supplies on the mountain belong to the village. If it were just 1, no one would investigate. Now that there are 3, it's not necessarily true. Zhao Liwu also encountered difficulties. With the meat in his hands, he was unwilling to give up. He began to think about how to avoid the villagers and take the rabbit home. If only his elder brother was there, he would definitely come up with a solution. Little brother, let's pick up firewood and stuff the rabbit inside to cover it with firewood. How about that? Zhao Suisui thought to herself, if she were alone, she could just put it in the space. If she saw dry branches on the ground, she could use firewood as a cover. But, little brother, can you move it? I think I can, Zhao Liwu said as he began to pick up firewood. Zhao Suisui was not idle either, cleaning up the bloodstains of a bleeding rabbit. Looking at the rabbit that had been bleeding all along, she simply slapped a handful of wet mud on it, and the blood quickly stopped, which was quite effective. Zhao Liwu brought a few large leaves, wrapped them around the rabbits, and began to build firewood on them. In order not to be discovered, the firewood piled up more and more. Zhao Suisui looked at the large bundle of firewood in front of him, swallowed his saliva, and looked at Zhao Liwu. "I can pick it up, let's go home." Zhao Liwu walked ahead, taking his sister down the mountain. Zhao Suisui followed behind with a slingshot and met Zhao Liwen, who was going to school, at the intersection at the foot of the mountain. "Xiaowu, why did you take Suisui up the mountain and pick up so much firewood? I'll see if you're tired." Zhao Liwen saw his younger brother and sister from a distance and quickly stepped forward to help him carry them together. "Big brother, there's something good on the noodles, 3 rabbits." Zhao Suisui whispered to Zhao Liwen. Zhao Liwen suddenly looked at his younger brother and sister, his eyes questioning. The two nodded heavily, and Zhao Liwen quickly lifted the firewood in his hand and said, "Go home first." Because it was a meal, most of the people in the village were at home, and the siblings returned home without encountering any inquiries from the villagers. "Enter through the back door," Zhao Liwen whispered to his younger brother. When he returned home, he found that Chen Xiuhe had already prepared his meal and was about to go out to find his own child when he noticed that the 3 siblings had returned. "Why did you pick up so much firewood?" "Xiaowu, my mother didn't say I couldn't pick up so much at once." The young son was strong, but only 7 years old. Chen Xiuhe didn't allow him to do heavy work. "Mother, go in and say." Carrying the firewood all the way, Zhao Liwen was very tired and looked at his younger brother beside him, feeling a bit depressed as if nothing had happened. Chen Xiuhe took the firewood from his second son's hand and found something wrong when he picked it up. Chapter 7. Stealing a chicken is not a success. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, opening the grass rope revealed 3 rabbits inside. "Did you call this?" "I stepped on the rabbit hole year after year, and I used the slingshot made by my father to hit it." Zhao Liwu vividly recounted the entire process, watching as his mother wanted to praise him. "Did you go up the mountain with age?" Chen Xiuhe squinted his eyes and looked at his youngest son. Zhao Liwu finally realized and his small body couldn't help but tremble. "Without going up the mountain, I accidentally followed the bird up and only went up for a while. When I was about to come down, I stepped on the rabbit hole." Zhao Suisui quickly spoke for Zhao Liwu, realizing that she could go up the mountain more and stock up on more meat before the famine. After all, there were not many preserved meats and sausages in the space. "Well, if you bring back 3 rabbits, I won't punish you. Don't go up the mountain, there are wild boars on the mountain." The last sentence is a warning. Zhao Liwu and Zhao Suisui nodded one after another, indicating that they knew. Chen Xiuhe saw his youngest son and daughter being taught before starting to inspect the rabbits on the ground. One was hit with a head bump, the other was limped, and the other was hit in the stomach. The dead one eats at night, and the remaining 2 are kept in the chicken coop. After lunch, Chen Xiuhe taught his 2 sons how to deal with rabbits in the kitchen. Chen Xiuhe peeled off the skin of a rabbit completely and prepared it for processing, making vests for the 3 siblings. When his father returned, he had beaten wild rabbits 3 times before, and there were 5 pieces of rabbit skin. With these 3 pieces, it would be enough for 3 vests. If there were more, the youngest daughter could also fit 2 sleeves. The dead rabbit weighed about 5 pounds, with more than 2 pounds of broken skin and internal organs. "It's used to stew potatoes for dinner," he said after finishing speaking. "I sent the children to take a nap." Zhao Suisui woke up again, and it was indeed 4 o'clock in the afternoon. His body was so capable of sleeping. The door in the room was closed, and it seemed that the young man had locked her at home again. He was about to get off the Kong when he suddenly heard Zhao Lady's voice in the yard, "Is anyone at home?" Zhao Suisui knew there was a play to watch as soon as he heard it, so he quickly hid at the corner of the Kong, which was not visible from the window. "Is anyone at home?" Zhao lady came to her window and looked inside, but did not find Zhao Suisui hiding beside her. Sister, there's no one, let's start. The speaker was Zhao Nandi. Zhao Suisui waited for a while before his younger brother turned back and looked into Zhao Suisui's house, confirming that there was no one. Let's go and tie the chicken up to the mountain, he said. After hearing this, Zhao Suisui thought that these two sisters were really brave and didn't have enough food. Mrs. Zhao raised 3 chickens alone. In this era, the matches and salt used by the villagers were saved by the chicken butt bank. During the 10-year catastrophe, there were restrictions on how many chickens a family could raise, and raising too many would be capitalism. Zhao Suisui heard from her grandmother that a rural family can only raise 5 chickens, and in the 1960s, it was not allowed to raise a single chicken in the city. But there is not enough food to eat, and usually a family in the village only raises 2 or 3. In their family, her mother only raises 2 eggs, and usually picks up 2 eggs every day. If there is less, there is also 1. When it comes to the big steelmaking in a year, she needs to find a way to hide the big iron pot and kitchen knife at home. Zhao Suisui was still trying to figure out how to hide the iron pot, but the sound of Zhao Lai's brother and sisters catching the chicken drew him back to reality. She secretly leaned over the window to check. The hen might know that she was going to be eaten, and began to fight. For a while, the yard was full of chicken feathers. Watching their 2 sisters being teased by 3 chickens, Zhao Suisui covered his mouth and smiled with joy. Finally, Zhao Lai's younger brother became angry and directly grabbed one with a wooden bucket. I'll see you run, and I'll eat you later, he said. What are you going to eat? Zhao Posey appeared at the door. Her eyelids kept twitching, and she wanted to go home and take a look. Unexpectedly, when she arrived at the doorstep, she heard her granddaughter wanting to eat her own raised chicken. In an instant, she became furious and grabbed a bamboo broom, greeted Zhao Lai brother, and directly hit him to the ground. Zhao Posey kept swearing out while fighting, as if the other person was not her granddaughter, like an enemy. Zhao Suisui watched with relish, as all 3 children in the big house had bullied her. Now, watching Zhao lady being beaten, he was cheering on Zhao Posey in his heart. Looking at it, I feel a bit wrong. Brother Zhao is missing. Good guy, it's really gone. I don't know when I hid out. It seems like someone with a good chance. Zhao lady wouldn't run even if he was beaten, so he stood still and was beaten. It's estimated that her younger sister Zhao Nandi came up with the idea of stealing a chicken. In this way, the courtyard was filled with the howls of Zhao Lai's younger brother and the insults of Zhao Posey, which lasted for about 10 minutes. Lu Zhaodi, who was rushing home, stopped her and said, "Mom, if we continue to fight, this girl won't be able to get up tomorrow. She won't be able to earn any work while lying in bed." Zhao Suisui. Once again, I'm glad I didn't get reincarnated into Lu Zhaodi's belly. This is really a mother. After hearing this, Zhao Posey put down the broom in her hand, and her mouth was still spitting out fragrance. She couldn't help but step forward and pinch Zhao lady's arm a few times. "You lazy loser, go clean up the yard." Zhao Posey finished speaking and hurriedly went back to work, using the excuse of going to the thatched cottage. Lu lady saw the redness and swelling on her eldest daughter's face, and there was really no place to start, so she followed her back to work. Zhao Suisui could clearly see from behind that Lu lady was probably going to give her eldest daughter a scolding. I don't know why she let go, maybe it's not her stepmother. I need to ask her elder brother tonight. Watching Zhao Lai shuffle around in the yard, Zhao Suisui, who had watched a free play, withdrew his focus from watching the excitement and squatted in the corner waiting for the little brother to come back and open the door for her. She checked the counter in the space and found a mechanical watch inside that was different from the one in this era. 2 boxes of chocolates were all 500 G, 1 rechargeable flashlight, and there was some change for money, but it couldn't be used in this era. 1 1.5L stainless steel thermos, 1 notebook with 2 pages written on it, 2 water-based pens, 2 boards of Mofu batteries, 1 board with 10, and 1 accounting calculator. Upon hearing the sound of unlocking, Zhao Suisui quickly walked to the door. When the young man came in, he made a shush gesture and pulled Zhao Liwu to the kitchen, jokingly telling him what he had just seen. Those 2 sisters are brave enough to steal milk. He always touches the chickens but before going out every day, and it's clear how many eggs there will be today, even if 1 egg is missing. They can't steal eggs, they can only attack the hens. Brother Zhao doesn't know where he went. She's cutting pigsty, I saw it when I came back. Zhao Liwu threw the earthworms wrapped in large leaves into the chicken coop, and the 2 chickens raised at home immediately rushed up to feed on them. When milking Zhao Lady, she wouldn't even run, but Zhao Nandi ran. Zhao Nandi's thoughts are deeper than her sister's, Zhao Liwu said as he opened his mouth. Chapter 8. Rabbit Meat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How did her little brother know? Looking at his puzzled younger sister, Zhao Liwu continued, Big brother told me to stay away from brother Zhao. Zhao Suisui. Oh, it turned out that the older brother said it. She thought the younger brother had become smarter. In the evening, Zhao Liwen returned home early, indicating that meat was a temptation for people of this era. Watching her mother busy in the kitchen, Zhao Suisui sat on a small stool and watched the young man set fire. Zhao Liwen was tinkering with the clock on the side, and the teacher had already repaired it. Just put on the battery and you can leave. Mom, this clock has already been repaired. You can buy a battery and put it on, and it can last a long time. Zhao Liwen repeated the teacher's words to his mother. Can supply and marketing cooperatives buy batteries? Chen Xiuhe chopped more than 2 pounds of rabbit meat into pieces and put it in a pot to stir-fry to produce oil. In an instant, the fragrance spread from the kitchen to the entire Zhao family yard. The teacher said that only supply and marketing cooperatives in the county have them. Zhao Liwen was a bit discouraged. If he knew he could fix the clock, he should have bought it when he was in the county town the day before yesterday. Why don't you ask your father to send a pair back? My husband is in the army, and these things should be easy to buy. Well, I'll write to Dad after he replies. The people eating in the main room all smelled the aroma of meat. Zhao Lijin looked at the food on the table, put down his chopsticks, and made a fuss not to eat anymore, wanting to eat meat. Lu Lady looked towards the backyard and cursed inwardly, Mom, can I fry an egg for you? No, I'm going to eat meat. If you don't eat, just roll away and give the extra grain to the area to eat. Old Zhao scolded directly, and his grandson was really spoiled. If you don't teach him now, his temperament will take shape in the future. When Zhao Lijin heard his grandfather's scolding, he didn't dare to make trouble anymore. The one he was most afraid of at home was his grandfather. The people in the main room were enjoying the meat aroma and eating the steamed buns in their bowls. On Zhao Suisui's side, her mother added potatoes and covered them with a wooden lid. You can eat them later, she said, looking at the eager expressions on the faces of the 3 children. Chen Xiuhe asked his younger son to increase his firepower. After frying more than 2 pounds of rabbit meat, take a small portion and put it in an enamel bowl, leaving it for tomorrow to eat. In the weather of July, meat is not banned. Chen Xiuhe dug a bucket of well water and put the rabbit meat in an enamel bowl in a water bath to lower the temperature of the meat. When the people in the hall were full, their family began to eat dinner. Chen Xiuhe asked his youngest son to bring a bowl to his grandfather, but she did it intentionally. Their meat was not so delicious. She was filial to her husband and her parents-in-law, and they were lifelong enemies. Sir, this is the rabbit meat that my mother asked me to bring. After saying that, Zhao Liwu put down his bowl and quickly returned to his own room. I'll go call Guanhua and Lijin to come and eat together. Zhao Pozi put down the needle and thread in her hand, ready to get off the con. Don't go, you forgot the fish that the 3rd wife sent last time. Old Zhao understood very well. Since the last time the third wife sent the fish and it was given to her grandson, the third wife hasn't brought any food to the old couple for a whole year. Such good meat. Such good meat was given to us by our third wife. Can't we eat good meat when we get old? In recent years, he also realized that the eldest has always been like this throughout his life. The second son has never left his retirement at the city steel plant, and the third son is no different. The fourth son is like a burden on his father-in-law's family, but there is nothing to show filial piety towards. He even wanted to divide the eldest family and live with the old lady. With the filial piety of his three sons, they lived the most leisurely life in the village. Look at Li Jin's current situation. Let's take a look at the boss. We can still work now. When we can't do it anymore, will the three sons below take care of themselves or the boss take care of them? Of course it is. Zhao Suisui looked at her husband, and after the separation, she also knew that the eldest family could not be relied on. Eat it. If you don't eat it again, it will be cold. Zhao comforted his old wife and fed her a piece of meat. On this side, Zhao Liwu quickly returned to his own house after delivering the rabbit meat. Seeing that all three of them were waiting for him, he immediately sat down. Let's eat. The four of them sat down and Chen Xiuhe announced that the meal was ready. Zhao Suisui was picked up by her mother with a rabbit leg and started nibbling on it. The rabbit leg filled with soup tasted really good, and Zhao Liwen also held the rabbit head and nibbled on it. The staple food was potatoes, which were also filled with soup, and the four of them ate with oily mouths. Zhao Suisui is young, and after eating a rabbit leg and a few potatoes, he is full. Looking at the three people still fighting, she envied them so much that she really wanted to grow up quickly. The family of four was eating happily here, while the big house was still waiting for Zhao Suisui to ask them to go eat meat. Zhao Lijin saw Zhao Liwu from the third room bring a bowl to the main room. Why don't you ask me to go eat milk? Zhao Lijin rolled back and forth on the Kong, speaking discontentedly. I still want to eat meat. When was the last time the third family sent food to your grandpa's milk? Lu Xiaodi knew that Chen Xiuhe had always hated their family. After the fish and meat that was given to her in-laws last time was given to her son by her mother-in-law, the third family had not sent food to the main house for a year. Zhao Lijin heard that it was for this reason again. After he bumped into his third aunt, the third uncle and his family started to split up. Afterwards, their family began to feel sad. They didn't have the second and third uncles to send back their salaries and tickets, and he didn't have any good things in his hands. In the past 3 years, without any delicious food, Zhao Lijin deeply regretted that he shouldn't have bumped into Aunt San. After Zhao Suisui had dinner, she was driven by her mother to the backyard for a walk to digest food. Thinking of her older brother's battery, she took a walk and tore off the label of a certain food battery in the space, intending to sneak into the mud tomorrow when going up the mountain and bring it back. Looking at the dim kerosene lamps in the room, Zhao Suisui missed the LED headlights of the 21st century very much. Unfortunately, she couldn't take out the lithium battery flashlight in her space. Suisui, come here, my mother will give you a bath. Chen Xiuhe summoned his little daughter strolling in the yard and lifted the wooden bucket in her hand to the bathroom. Since her recovery, the little daughter has been shy and unwilling to take a bath in the yard. What is there to see with a 3-year-old radish head? Although she rose in her heart, she still met her little daughter's requirements. It's the most embarrassing time of the day again. She's a girl in her 20s and needs help taking a shower. It's really shameful. The opportunity she finally managed to get to take a shower herself was also ruined by her own hands, because she accidentally slipped while taking a shower, and then her mother refused to let her take a shower herself. What are you thinking? Chen Xiuhe saw his little daughter standing still and walked back, picking her up and walking towards the bathroom. Zhao Suisui lay on her mother's shoulder, with an expression of helplessness. Chapter 9. Battery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When I woke up in the morning, she was the only one on the Kong again. The door was locked and she couldn't get out, so she began to figure out how to pick up the battery without suspicion. The sound came from the backyard, and it was also the housewife, Zhao Liwu, drying clothes. After the siblings had breakfast, Zhao Suisui followed Zhao Liwu out. He wore a small straw hat on his head, which was sent over by Mr. Zhao this morning. He said that his granddaughter often runs outside now, so don't tan her white flesh. Chen Xiuhe took the bowl and straw hat from his father-in-law's hand, thinking that the straw hat he was weaving a few days ago should be this one. Thank you, Dad. Coincidentally, the little girl couldn't hold on to the straw hat at home, which kept covering her eyes. This is the reason why she is willing to interact with Mr. Zhao, who has interactions with him. Hey, I'm going to work now. Old Zhao saw his third wife take the straw hat, carry the back of her hand, and walk towards the village headquarters. Year by year, my mother said I can't go up the mountain. Zhao Liwu, who was listening to my mother's words, blocked me as I watched my sister try to climb up the mountain again. Where else can we go? Zhao Suisui was helpless. Her little brother listened to his mother very well, and whatever she said was everything. Let's go catch earthworms. Zhao Liwu didn't go either, knowing that his sister didn't like playing with those boys. No, I don't like earthworms. Zhao Suisui is naturally not fond of mollusks. Even if the chicken at home eats earthworms, they will be much more diligent in laying eggs. Where else can we go? Zhao Liwu was puzzled. In fact, he also wanted to go up the mountain. The rabbit he found yesterday made him feel that the animals in the mountain were easy to catch. Little brother, let's go to the river, to the shallow beach where everyone washes clothes. She plans to scoop the battery out of the water. Well. Okay, let's go. Zhao Liwu thought for a moment. The shallow beach is not by the river, and his sister has never been there before. So he took her there once. The siblings walked through half of the village and arrived at the shallow beach. They found many girls washing clothes, and Zhao Lady was also inside. Without any accidents, she received a sharp eye, and Zhao Suisui glared at her unwilling to be outdone. Zhao Lady was a coward who bullied the weak and feared the hard. In Zhao Lady's heart, she was the easiest person to be bullied in the Zhao family, so he only dared to give her a sharp eye. Zhao Liwu took his sister to a location upstream, intending to see if there were any shrimp in the water. Suisui, you can't leave my sight, you know. Zhao Liwu explained anxiously. Little brother, I know, just sitting playing in the water. Zhao Suisui raised his hand to ensure that she was not the real little girl. Zhao Liwu found the broken fish basket he had hidden here in the grass and made a small water pit in the water to store the caught shrimp. Zhao Suisui watched from the side, not expecting her little brother to have such skills. She estimated that it was almost time and pretended to take out a pair of batteries from the water. Little brother, what are you looking at? Zhao Liwu heard his sister's words and turned to look at the battery in her hand. I don't know, even a small one is not a stone. Is this made of iron sheet? When Big Brother comes back, let's ask him if he knows, he said and put the battery in his pocket. Zhao Liwu continued to go back into the water to catch shrimp. Throughout the morning, he really caught a lot of them. I can stir-fry a plate of leeks and shrimp, he said. Little brother, let's go home. The sun was a bit fierce today, and before it reached the center, it was already scorching. Well, I'll put the shrimp in the fish basket and go back. When the siblings returned home, Zhao Liwu poured a basin of water, put the shrimp in the fish basket, and then went to the vegetable garden to cut a handful of leeks and wash them clean. He waited for his mother to come back and immediately stir-fry the vegetables. Zhao Suisui put the battery in his pocket on the dining table and washed the chives with Zhao Liwu. After they washed the chives, Chen Xiuhe happened to come home from work. Did you go to the shallow water beach? Chen Xiuhe asked when he saw the shrimp in the basin. I just played with the sand in the shallow water and didn't get into the water, Zhao Suisui immediately said, afraid that he wouldn't be able to go there again in the future. Chen Xiuhe knew that blocking is better than dredging, and blindly restricting his younger daughter may have the opposite effect. When your older brother is on vacation, let him teach you how to swim. Zhao Suisui nodded heavily. She had long wanted to learn swimming, and every time she wanted to learn in college, something else happened, which led to her being a dry duck before crossing the river. What should I do? Zhao Liwen's voice echoed behind him. When you're on vacation, teach your younger brother and sister how to swim. Chen Xiuhe directly assigned tasks to his eldest son, then turned to his younger daughter and said, "You can't go to the river until you learn how to swim." "I understand, I won't go." Zhao Suisui doesn't really enjoy playing in the water either. This time, she went to grind her little brother to pick up the battery in order to justify it. Chen Xiuhe started cutting chives and preparing to make lunch. "Is this a battery?" Zhao Liwen asked in confusion as he saw the battery on the table. "This was found year by year in the shallow beach, big brother." "Is this a battery?" Zhao Liwu explained to his big brother the source of the thing. Zhao Liwen remained silent and looked at the unmarked battery. Zhao Liwu saw that his elder brother was not speaking, so he ran to the Kong cabinet and took the clock. He pointed it towards the groove and put the battery inside. The clock did not start moving, and he said somewhat disappointed, "So it's not a battery. Is there a possibility that the battery was misplaced?" Zhao Suisui watched from the side, knowing that the battery was not misplaced, and reminded. Zhao Liwen immediately swapped the batteries, and the clock began to move. It moved. From then on, their family began to have a clock. At noon, their family ate dregs congee, fried shrimps with leeks, and 4 pancakes. Chen Xiuhe was going to work, and Zhao Suisui gave her half of his cake. "I can't eat one," he said after the 4 of them finished their lunch. Zhao Liwen began to wait for the village clock. During the day, every hour, the village would sound the gong, and he was waiting for the 1 o'clock gong. "Big brother, is this clock missing a piece of glass?" Zhao Liwu looked at the clock moving the needle and said. "It's missing, but we can't find a suitable glass either. Let's make do with it for now." "Big brother, when will you be on vacation?" Zhao Suisui was thinking about learning to swim. "Yes, big brother, I also want to learn." Zhao Suisui didn't expect her younger brother to also not swim, thinking that her mother asked her older brother to teach because he was steady. "We'll be on vacation in half a month, and we'll teach together. If I find out that you secretly went to play by the river during this time, I won't teach you anymore." Zhao Liwen warned his younger brother and sister again, repeating what his mother had just said. "I won't go, don't worry," Zhao Suisui promised once again. "I will look at my younger sister," Zhao Liwu agreed on the side. Zhao Suisui looked at her little brother and felt like something had happened to him. Chapter 10. Angry Birds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The end of June is the time when the wheat is ripe. Currently, schools do not have a fixed concept of holidays, usually during busy farming periods. During the waiting period for Zhao Liwen's vacation, Zhao Suisui followed Zhao Liwu around the village every day. He saw the nearby small dam where all the boys in the village were diving, stripped naked one by one. Even if Zhao Suisui was 24 years old, he still felt his eyes were hot. After swimming for half a month, Zhao Liwen finally had a vacation. Early in the morning, after having breakfast, Zhao Suisui rubbed Zhao Liwen out. "No, wait for the sun to come out and heat up the water." Zhao Liwen was pulled by his sister for a long time and pointed to the clock, saying that he would leave in 2 hours. There was no way. Zhao Suisui could only continue to look at the comic strip in his hand, which was Railway Gorilla, brought back by Zhao Liwen from school. She read quickly, and finished reading 3 comic books in less than 10 minutes. Zhao Liwen only treated her as illiterate and played with the pictures. "Big brother, isn't it anymore?" Zhao Suisui really hasn't seen the manga of Railway Gorilla. In the 21st century, the school also released a very old film of Railway Gorilla, and she didn't watch it if she wasn't interested. In this era without entertainment, watching comic books is one of the few forms of entertainment. Do you understand? We need the 4th volume. Zhao Liwen also saw his sister's speed in flipping through the picture album. I can understand, and drawing is beautiful. Zhao Suisui was suddenly surprised. He was now a 3-year-old illiterate little doubting, and immediately changed his tune. The 4th volume is waiting for the start of school, and the school library is not open now. Why don't the older brother ask you to read? Zhao Liwen's mind turned around and he wanted to teach his younger sister how to read. These days, he realized that his younger sister was very smart, even smarter than his younger brother. Zhao Suisui pretended to think for a moment, afraid that she might accidentally reveal her literacy skills. She nodded and said, I want to read. Xiao Wu, you're also with us. You'll be going to elementary school in 2 months. Zhao Liwen touched his sister's head, looking relieved, and then turned to teach his younger brother a lesson. Zhao Liwu is 7 years old this year. He was supposed to start 1st grade at the age of 6, but he didn't like going to school. He didn't go to school on the grounds of taking care of his younger sister. Chen Xiuhe agreed to his younger son's dislike of learning, but insisted that he go to primary school this year. Oh, I don't want to, I want to go to school to learn. Zhao Liwu jumped at the sight of learning. Well, then let me teach Suisui how to read. As an older brother, you won't be as good at reading as your younger sister. You're not shy. Zhao Liwen began using the method of provocation. Zhao Suisui looked at his older brother and said, this is 9 years old. Can a little kid who turned 10 at the beginning of the month say it? His older brother is not also a time traveler, is he? Thinking of being able to travel, Zhao Liwen's usual behavior is not like that of a child. She swallowed her saliva and planned to find a chance to verify it. Listening to Zhao Liwen's mouth, Zhao Liwu was overwhelmed by his words, and roast that his younger brother was like an angry bird. Zhao was more and more sure that his elder brother might also come from the 21st century, but he didn't know whether he was born here or wore a soul like himself. By then, Suisui will be more literate than you. Let's see how you can make Suisui your brother. I also learn. Zhao Liwu didn't want his sister to look down on him. My younger sister was basically raised by myself. At first, it was my older brother who took care of me. Later, when my older brother went to school, he took care of me. My younger sister followed him like a follower all day, and he wanted to be a brother who made my younger sister proud. Because Zhao died young every year, and Zhao Suisui stayed in Chen Xiuhe's stomach for too long without oxygen, which led to being foolish. Her family loved her very much, and her mother doted on herself even more. This is because she has added all her love for her eldest daughter to her younger daughter. You can tell by looking at a can of milk powder and malt extract every month. In this era, even children in big cities may not be able to drink milk powder every day to supplement their nutrition. She woke up less than a month ago and had a glass of milk before bedtime every day. It is estimated that she also had the effect of drinking milk for so long. She only knows that her father is in the army and is a battalion commander. She can get milk powder every month. It seems that her father is not an ordinary military officer either. In Zhao Suisui's impression, the battalion commander could apply for family members to accompany the army, but their family was still in the countryside. According to the extent of her father's love for her in memory, if she could accompany the army, she would definitely let their whole family go to the army. At the same time, Zhao Guangshu, who was being nagged by Zhao Suisui, is now lying in the emergency room, his life in danger. After a whole day of rescue, the doctor finally pulled him back from the brink of death. Doctor, how is Zhao Ying? A person with an arm hanging quickly stood up on a stool in the emergency room and asked the doctor who came out. My legs have been saved, and I still need some rest. the doctor said after a whole day of surgery, taking off his mask wearily. Thank goodness, said the man, and tears began to flow down his face. Let me teach you how to write your own name first. Zhao Liwen seized the opportunity and took out his notebook and pen. Zhao Liwu, who thought it would only start tomorrow, said, Zhao Liwen wrote down the names of his younger siblings on a piece of paper, one for each person. After finishing a whole page, we can go to the river to learn how to swim. He turned his head and looked at the clock. In an hour and a half, he could write a full page of paper. Ah, 1 page. Zhao Liwu immediately exploded and discussed with his elder brother, write half a page. Write as much as you want at that age. Zhao Liwen didn't want to force his younger brother too hard. He held his sister's little hand and began teaching her to write his own name. Zhao Suisui was a bit embarrassed and could only draw along. Fortunately, Zhao Liwen took her to write 3 times before letting go of her hand and allowing Zhao Suisui to write on his own. At first, Zhao Suisui pretended not to hold the pen, writing crookedly, and then getting better and better. Zhao Liwen looked at his younger brother with a relieved expression on his face, feeling that he was too stupid. Just write it, do you think these 2 words are the same? Zhao Liwen saw that his sister was writing very smoothly, so he began to fully comment on his younger brother. Oh, why is it different? I clearly didn't write like this just now. Zhao Liwu scratched his ears and cheeks, looking confused. Little brother, look. Zhao Suisui handed Zhao Liwu the paper he had written all over. Looking at his younger sister's neat handwriting on the second half of the page, Zhao Liwu felt a bit ashamed. I started writing my name seriously, and after Zhao Suisui finished writing his name, he stopped and didn't look like a child who just knew how to write anymore. If she could read too much at once, she would be suspected, so she and her older brother watched Zhao Liwu write together. Perhaps due to the stimulation of his younger sister, Zhao Liwu wrote very carefully next, and the last 10 names were written well. Look, if you take it seriously, aren't you writing very well? Zhao Liwen corrected his brother's handwriting and finally took out 2 big white rabbit milk candies. 1 for each person.